Hey guys, it's time to Nefis and chill. In this video, we'll be going over the new item sets coming out with Update 31, otherwise known as the Waking Flame DLC, in addition to all the changes to existing item sets, any buffs and nerfs or fixes, along with some video footage of what the new sets look like. As a forward, I will be covering changes to 3 particular different item sets in another video, which are Alkosh, Powerful Assault, and Meritorious Service, because I believe the changes to those sets warrant a little bit more discussion than you'll find in this video, as they relate more to raid compositions in PvE and PvP, which I would like to talk about. Let's get started, first with Scorion's Feast, the light armor set from the Dread Cellar. It's quite an interesting set, whereupon your heavy attack, your group of 4 party members can attain magic and stamina recovery for 10 seconds. However, if you heavy attack while the 10-second recovery duration is active, you gain another aura for another 10 seconds, getting 307 weapon and spell damage. The best way to use the set so far seems to be proccing the damage aura immediately, or extending the 2 10-second durations for the full 20-second cooldown. And the Rush of Agony set is the medium armor set that drops from the same dungeon. Basically, when you blink, charge, leap, teleport, or pull and deal direct damage with that skill, you pull all enemies within 10 meters to you. I can't seem to find the cap just yet, but after 2 seconds, it deals damage to all enemies, physical damage, within 7 meters. This occurs every 8 seconds and scales off whether your higher weapon or spell damage. But the interesting thing about this set is that it does not apply CC immunity to any of the targets you pull. And for the heavy armor set, Crimson Oath Shrine, it basically, whenever you use an ability that applies a major or minor buff to yourself or a team member, you send out a wave of energy that, just like Alkosh, reduces the armor value of nearby enemies. However, this is a circular AoE within 12 meters of you for 15 seconds. It's a very easy set to use, and I'll be talking more about whether this is better than Alkosh or not in the aforementioned video. Finally, Magma Incarnate is the monster set that drops from the Dread Cellar. Basically, whenever you heal yourself or a group member with any single target heal ability, you can give Minor Courage and Minor Resolve for up to 4 total people, including yourself, for 10 seconds. And this will occur once every 15 seconds. And I think this will have definitely a potential PvP applications more so than we'll have PvE. Thunder Color, in terms of its 2 to 4 piece bonuses, seem very strong. As for its 5 piece bonus, it's definitely basically a stronger version of Elambris, and it does proc on heavy attacking on a target, and it does leave a 4-meter crater at their location for 6 seconds, dealing shock damage per second to enemies touching the crater. However, it does occur once only every 12 seconds, but also scales off your weapon or spell damage, whichever is higher. I'm not sure where I could see this being a good 5-piece bonus set for optimal things, but I can certainly see it for fun things. But also the 2 to 4 piece bonuses can't be ignored either. Grizzly Gourmet, the medium armor set, also drops from the Red Petal Bastion dungeon, coming with Update 31 next patch. And it's a pretty interesting set, actually. I think a lot of people are going to have fun with it. Unlike most of the 5-piece sets that drop in the dungeon, it also has a secondary 5-piece bonus of slightly extra stamina. And dealing light attack damage grants you a stack of Baker's Delight. And every 3 stacks, you create a sweet roll next to whatever you're attacking for 5 seconds. And you or anyone in your group can go pick up the sweet roll. And actually, whoever, even it doesn't matter if you pick it up or not, you'll still get, along with your group member, get Empower or Major Force, or get Free Sustain. And this effect can occur once every 2 seconds, so I think this is going to be a pretty fun set to try out in group content for sure. The Silver Rose Vigil is the heavy armor set that drops in the Red Petal Bastion DLC dungeon. And it has pretty solid 2 to 4 piece bonus stats, which includes max stamina and max health. The 5 piece bonus is a little interesting, and I think it's going to be mostly just for PvP application only, and basically where you block an attack and you reach 3 stacks after generating 1 stack every half a second upon blocking damage. you basically throw a magic damage back at whoever is attacking you at that point, and you apply Major Maim to them. Note that this is an AoE, this is single target based. So again, this is just kind of going to be for PvP applications for maybe heavy armor or tankier setups instead of PvE, because there are definitely easier ways of getting Major Maim in PvE as a tank or a tanky spec. Note that the damage also scales off your max health, which is perfect for PvP. The other monster set that's dropping in this DLC is going to come from Red Petal Bastion as well, and Prior Theoric, just like a few other sets, is going to add weapon and spell damage as a one-piece bonus. The two-piece bonus is quite interesting. When you deal direct damage, it summons a AoE ability that's basically 6 meters wide below your enemy for 7 seconds, and anyone within this 6 meter AoE takes a damage over time effect, physical base damage based, and also increases their damage taken from all of your AoE abilities by another 5%. And this occurs once every 15 seconds, basically an effective cooldown of 8 seconds. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see if this will make a play in raids, in PvE, or potentially even in 4-man content. Now that we talked about the new dungeon sets coming out for Update 31, we're going to be talking about the new PvP rewards for the worthy sets coming out with Update 31 as well. So from left to right, we have Dark Conversions, Hrothgar's Chill, and Plague Break. Dark Conversions is a set that is, I think, intended by the devs to help break up ball groups in PvP, and we'll see how that goes, but as a set itself, it seems extremely potent, even in other scenarios for PvP, whether you're going up against a group or against even separate players. From what people have been testing with their duels on the PTS, this seems pretty strong, and they did buff it again, I think in week 4 or week 5 PTS. So we'll see how this ends up. For PvE, Dark Conversions may need some testing, as the AoE damage might be worth it, but again, some strong doubts there potentially. In comparison to other sets. For Hrothgar's Chill, I think a lot of PvPers have been looking at Hrothgar's Chills before next patch. Not only does it have really decent stats for mitigation, max health, and also penetration, whether you're a Magicka or Stamina spec, or even a hybrid spec, potentially because of the armor changes next patch, which we also covered in a different video previously. But also the fifth piece bonus is pretty strong. I mean, stunning or immobilizing your enemy, applies a shield effect, which is basically minor brittle on them, and deals 26% of their total physical and spell resistance as frost damage to themselves and others within 8 meters of them. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. So I think this is definitely going to be a set that a lot of people are going to be looking at for sure for a lot of their PvP theory crafting and builds. For Plague Break, in similar kind of line of thought with the Dark Conversion set, we see that it gives really great stats, offensive penetration, weapon and spell damage for 3 to 4 piece bonuses, and the 5 piece bonus is when you deal direct damage, any deal, whether it's a light attack or a direct damage ability, who is not affected by the set already, it turns them into a plague carrier for 10 seconds, dealing an X amount of disease damage over the duration. If the plague is removed early, it explodes, infecting enemies within 8 meters of the carrier and dealing more disease damage, and it deals an additional 10% damage per enemy hit. Again, for PvE application, this could be a thing, but I don't think so, because it does require your enemy to purge early, or purge the effect early. Again, this is kind of aimed at ball groups in PvP, and I've asked a couple of ball group raid leads, and they said they're not really too concerned about Plague Break just yet, citing that there are, the bigger threats out there like bombing and siege weapons are a bit more effective at breaking them up in comparison to Plague Breaker. But again, we'll see if they need to buff the set or nerf the set and go from there. And again, this effect can occur once per attack and scale off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. So very interesting sets, and hopefully we'll see how this all plays out in Update 31. In addition to all these new sets, we also have changes to existing sets that they require some review. So Crusader is going to be getting a revamp. When you deal direct damage with a blink, charge, leap, teleportable ability, you consecrate the ground beneath you for 10 seconds, and you gain a damage shield that absorbs X amount of damage for 6 seconds. Every 2 seconds, you get Minor Courage in addition to 11 other group members in the area. This is basically sort of a interesting Yonakrin alternative. However, while it does provide a damage shield, it doesn't seem very great as a Unicorn replacement. However, for potentially PvP or something, this could be something to take note of, maybe for BGs, as it does have pretty strong 2 to 4 piece bonuses. But that again depends on the group you run with. Beladret also got a buff. Instead of the spores disappearing once it hits something, they'll keep going and traveling through all the enemy hitboxes they hit. So your Velador spores will actually last the entire duration, and will still occur once every 8 seconds and scale off your weapon or spell damage. Pelinal's Wrath has also been revamped as well, completely changed to a different set. Instead of raising the lower weapon or spell damage to the higher value, because everything's becoming so hybridized, where we're getting both weapon and spell damage stats and stuff like that. Pelinal's is actually going to be changed into a set that gives you a damage shield for 10 seconds, and a stack of Wrath of Whitestrike for 10 seconds as well, and each stack will actually give you 87 weapon spell damage up to 10 times, so you can potentially have 870 weapon or spell damage, excuse me, but it does cause you to take 213 Oblivion damage every second, although the shield is kind of there to sort of cushion that. Not exactly sure how effective this set will be. This is feeling more of a BG set, more so than an open world set, but again, we'll see after some testing. The next resets we'll be talking about is going to be Stygian, Sith's Touch, and Nicholas's Heavy Armor. Stygian was simply just updated to where it now includes weapon damage stats, and also gives physical penetration as well under the offensive penetration umbrella. Also gives you weapon damage of 335 for 15 seconds after you leave Sneak or Invisibility while in combat. So this is going to be, again, speak more to the hybridization of sets. In addition, Sith's Touch has been completely reworked to where the 2 to 4 piece bonuses are going to be max stam, max magic, and weapon and spell damage, rather than max health, and critical chance. And instead of giving you Major Berserk anytime you RP kill some NPC with Blade of Woe, it's actually going to be, I think, a tad bit more useful. Whenever you kill an enemy, you gain 5% more movement speed for 30 seconds and become invisible for 3 seconds. And the movement speed here actually stacks up to 20 times. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that set. For Nicholas, we also do see a overhaul to the set. Whenever you successfully block, you gain a stack of Nicholas's Resolve for 5 seconds, up to once every half a second. After 8 stacks, you consume this Resolve and deflect the next direct damaging attack made against you within 5 seconds, avoiding it completely. So definitely something to test, as the previous 5-piece bonus was a 25% chance on blocking spell projectiles to reflect them back to the attacker rather than avoiding it. And for the next several sets, we do have some minor changes as well. For Vice Cannon Venom, we basically updated the set to where multiple people wearing Vice Cannon of Venom will actually be able to afflict the same target multiple times, so good luck with that, PvPers. Twin Sisters has also had a slight update, basically fixed an issue where the damage over time from Twin Sisters could be dodged and blocked in some cases. Galerian's Revenge was also kind of updated to where it's now properly processed as a proc on the server end. For the update regarding Celestrix, which is the monster set you can get from Arx Corinium, it has also been updated to be considered a proc on the server end. As for Stormfist, the Fist proc from the set can actually be purged off now, I believe, according to the patch notes. And also for Sivara's Scales, the initial proc kit from the set can now be blocked by people being targeted by it. We also do see some updates to the next 3 sets: Crag, Selene, and Kalnar's Nightmare. Kalnar's Nightmare, basically, there was an issue where you could still generate stacks for a short window against targets who were recently affected by the set. Crag, basically they updated the hitbox of the set so that it better matches the actual visual effects. And I believe they also decreased the width of the attack but increased the length. For Selene, as you see on the video, they updated the set to no longer actually spawn a real bear pet, but summon a visual bear. So I'm guessing that Selene was being affected by certain sets such as Necropotence or certain skills like Daedric Prey. So that was a pretty interesting change. For the next 4 sets, Auroran's Thunder, Viper's Sting, Thunderflame, and Unleashed Terror. Auroran's Thunder was updated to where it's actually now a damage over time and proc. For his Thunderflame, it's basically has a 2.1 second cooldown to prevent situations where repeated heavy attack could have prevented from dealing any damage. Viper's Sting was also updated to where it now has a 1 second delay and ticks 4 times on its damage rather than 5 times. However, the total damage over the duration remains the same, to be adjusted for the second cutoff. And the Unleashed Terror has also been updated to where it's now properly considered a proc on the server end, and also now has a 2 second delay before it actually deals damage. However, just like Viper's Sting, the total damage and duration for the most part remain the same. And for Azure Blight Reaper, there was an issue where the set was not obeying the cooldown on recently affected targets. Not sure how much this will affect its trash damage going forward, but we'll have to test it again and see where it ends up at. For Pillar of Nirn, the initial hit, just like Savara's Scale, can now be blocked by other players. For Pestilent Host, this set can, just like Viscount Venom, can now stack between multiple wearers. And for those of you curious what Pestilent Host does, whenever you kill an enemy afflicted with a poison effect, their corpse releases a reading mass of Fisher Flies, which seek out the nearest enemy within 12 meters. And now this will stack between multiple users of the set, and this may have a potential application for PvP, and we'll see how that goes. Last but definitely not least is Soul Zahn, and Soul Zahn was actually fixed in regards to its 5th piece bonus. And the fix is actually pretty big, basically where if multiple players in the trial group were using this set and had a soul activating time, it basically would get rid of other people's souls. This is a pretty strong set to look out for your STAM DPS specs. Basically, you pick up the soul, and it basically lasts for 30 seconds, where you have 2084 increased weapon critical and 12% more critical damage done, which may be a significant factor in regards with the armor changes next patch, along with a few other factors coming with update 31 for potential raid application. But yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you have been enjoying the ESO content we're putting it out, and you want to stick around for more ESO, anything ESO related, ESO news, ESO guides, ESO builds, going forward with update 31 and onwards for a very, very long time, definitely like and subscribe. It does help the channel out, and by reaching more viewers who may also be interested in playing ESO and learning more about what's coming with new patches and so forth. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend or week or whenever you may be watching the video. Thanks for Nefes and chilling. Stay safe, and see you guys next time.